So there we go. We're getting ready to start the semi-finals from Valencia. My name is Simon. Welcome to Valencia. I've been joined by Neil Donnay, who's one of the people that's come to visit us from the UK. I've got to mess around with levels here because I'm getting so much background noise. Thank you for coming, mate. And
My pleasure.
You're going to join me in commentating this round. Could you just pass me over the laptop because I'm not going to be able to reach it there.
Sure thing. There you go.
Okay. Right. So you've already met David, who's made it through the top four.
I have.
Yeah. But you haven't met other people like, for example, Lisardo. Oh no, look, I've got the list the wrong way around. I've got the names the wrong way around, not the lists. Okay, hang on. There we go, updated. So Lisardo is on the left side of the table, and Victor is one of our more newcomers to Valencia.
Right.
We saw him play yesterday. I'm getting so much background noise. Hang on a sec. Okay. One of the interesting things about this is that Lisardo, when we look at the top bracket, Lisardo won the 2015 regional playing against David. Okay.
Grudge match.
So if David wins the semi-final against Joel, and Lisardo wins the semi-final against Victor, then the two of them will be in the finals again, playing 3 years later, playing for the regional of Valencia, which is funny because it's like the first regional I made. So I kind of get to the feeling if that does happen, and if David wins, it's kind of like my streaming career has come full circle. It's kind of like I've done some kind of a George Lucas thing, of like going, it's like a poem. It's all part of my original vision.
I like it.
I wanted to so I've done my prequels and now my sequels, and it's all come to a close. It's all made full circle, and so that's why I've got to retire from streaming.
No, well, I better not do that.
and sell it all to Disney.
For a huge amount of money.
Yeah, well, huge. Maybe they'll give me a tenner. But apart from that, everything else is fine. Okay, and we've got Victor Donnay on the right side of the table. He's playing Captain Jostero. We'll put the list up on screen. Captain Jostero with harpoon missiles, dead-eye, guidance ships, munitions fail-safe, backside, a round starts there. They're a little bit behind schedule, but no problem there. Fuik, auto thrusters, fire control system, Virago titles, Star Viper Mark... No, what's it called? Oh, it's a Virago and Star Viper Mark II title. They can take both titles, can't they? And Captain Nim with Veteran Instincts, Auto Blaster Turret, Harpoon Missiles, Bomblet Generator, Genius, Trajectory Simulator and Havoc title. Let's get this to refresh. There we go. So we've got the chat as well on screen. And I don't know, I've got on Lisardo's side of the table we've got the feared Miranda Nim combo. Of the twin laser turret on Miranda with extra munitions, harpoon missiles, Sabine, bomblet generator and long range scanners, and Captain Nim with veteran instincts, twin laser turret, extra munitions, harpoon missiles, thermal detonators, proton bombs, trajectory simulator, genius, long range scanners and havoc title. So yeah, the boogeyman list, as it were.
But I think Captain Jostero is actually a really good call in the current meta with all that splash damage around from harpoons and bombs
and stuff like
things
that.
Like that. He's going to get a lot of extra attacks, especially if you can hook it up and get that harpoon missile off in return. I think it's a strong build, and it's got a good chance of putting the hurt onto Nim or Miranda because they're only one of the ships after all.
Yeah, if we take a look at the ranking after the Swiss from yesterday, Lisardo was second place with one loss to David Dief. And Victor Donnay was in 11th place with 4 victories and 2 losses, 753 margin. The other 2 players in the semi-finals, Lisardo and Victor are the ones we're watching at the moment. David Dief, first place, and Joel Guillamon, 14th place, are the ones currently facing off on the second table. Wait, it's table 1, we've got table 2. And in this case, Fuik has copied the pilot skill 10 of Captain Nim. So let's put that up on screen as well. And has the initiative. Is that right? Yeah, I think Lisardo won the initiative and gave it to Victor. With the 2-point initiative bid wasn't enough for him.
Oh, they're using the old ones, yeah.
That's all.
Oh dear. Okay. So Neil, tell me, what's your Valencian regional experience been like?
It's been really good, and in some ways it's been very refreshing. I think that the worries about there being a dominant build in the meta at the moment haven't really applied so much over here. There's been a lot of variety. I think I read somewhere yesterday that there's not been two identical lists in the entire tournament, which is really good. And that's made it interesting to fly here, and the people have been brilliant. I mean, even the language barrier hasn't really gotten in the way. There's been some hand signals and pointing and gesturing, but it's been really good. Massively recommend it. Come down next time.
Yeah, it's really good. One of the things that I mentioned to you last night as well is that the Spanish community as a whole, typically tries to be more inventive and experimental with their list, and that's kind of something that goes with all their tabletop games. We spoke about 2-3 years ago when Whisper and Han Solo were the dominant forces in the meta and were winning all the nationals everywhere. The Spanish national was won by the Rourke Garnet Aaron Kraken double B-wing list that caused a lot of interest. It ended up being that the player who played that, his wife was pregnant and so couldn't go to the World Championship, and so second place went in his place. Right. And which obviously had nothing to do with the list that won, but so a lot of people when he got there were like, "Oh, you're the guy who did the Rourke Garnet build," and he's like, "No,
I'm the guy that lost to that."
And then also when we had the national a month and a half ago, it was it's very there was a lot of variety in lists. I mean, more the typical lists were the ones we saw come from the foreign players that came in, like for example the French players, and we had a couple of Polish players and the Portuguese players that came for the national championship, and that's where we saw the more typical lists, and the majority of other ones were quite varied in some of their combinations, and we've seen some really weird ones as well, like the five-tie advanced prototypes has been making the rounds and doing a lot of damage as well. Shout out to Miguel Angel Morfio, I told you about yesterday.
You did, yeah.
He's the guy that drops when he's got a winning record from every single X-Wing tournament to go play Imperial Assault. Yeah. He did really well when we had our team championship with 5-tie advanced prototypes. I think they had the cruise missiles or something like that. I'm not remember.
Very good.
Yeah. And we had one of our guys from the south of Spain, a proper titan in the community, Rafael Dinidanes. He was one of the guys that was like first championing free K-Wings back when K-Wings were like, before they'd done really well in the World Championship, and it was just kind of like, K-Wings, like one, you have Miranda that like play free Wardens, no, and then he ended up being one of the people to really pioneer the bombing list as it was, especially here, and like I say, back then, it was still something that was like completely new. It's like not in the international meta. It wasn't really being played until about a couple of weeks later. We saw Arambona. Is that his name? Nope. Kinetic Operator is his handle name. Play the 3K wings at the World Championship and do very well, make it to the top 16.
Not bad going with 3K wins.
Yeah, I mean, So Rafa has actually got into it. He's one of the people that does play regularly on Vassal, and he got into a bit of a fame. He got a bit of fame through the international community for playing the 3K wings, and people were like coming up to him going, "You're the guy who plays 3K wings. I want to play you," and stuff like that. But to practice against it, yeah, because he'd been one of the guys that was playing it the longest time. What else did we have? We had some really interesting stuff. Like I say, I mean, obviously there's always the dominant list in the meta will always be present, but it's not been something that dominates our tournament scene. The tier 1 lists, as they were, don't cause a distorting effect as they have in other situations. For example, the Cardiff regional we had last week, wasn't it? And they had like a whole bunch of Nim Miranda in the top cup.
Top 7 of the top. Yeah. 7 of the top 8 were Nim Miranda, I think.
And that caused a lot of bad feeling respective of that list. And the fact there's only 2 in this top, or made it to the top 16, isn't a sign that they got destroyed, all the Nim Mirandas in the Swiss. Not more a case that there were only 2 Nim Mirandas that came to the tournament. The fact that both of those made the top might be something to be concerned about, but that's the sort of situation we're looking at right now, is that we do have a very varied meta. And of the 64 players that took part, you've already said there were no 2 lists that were the same. Everything had their own little personal touch to it. And we've seen things like Alberto Diaz playing Old Terok, Fen Rao, and Captain Nim as a combination. We've got Victor himself with Fuik Jostero, which is something you don't see very often, and Captain Nim. And we've had we've got David Dief, we saw in last round, playing with Resistance Bomber, undefeated,
which is awesome to see.
And so he's played 8 games now undefeated in the regional championship with a Resistance Bomber that everyone's just kind of like, nah, that thing's not much good. And we've seen him in the last round completely wreck Dash Rendar with it. So I mean, and he was telling us about how yesterday he was playing against Poe Dameron, assigned the rattled condition to Poe Dameron, and then Miranda drops a bomblet on Poe Dameron, but Poe Dameron rolls 2 hits, suffers 2 damage for the bomblet, suffers a damage for Sabine, suffers a crit for the rattle condition, and gets a direct hit. So 5 damage in one bomb. So I mean, it's been pretty devastating for him, and he's also using the thermal detonator, leveraging its stress mechanic by accompanying it with Ezra Bridger and R3A2 and Gunner to be able to have like a kind of a semi-stress bot kind of mechanic there.
Draws a lot of good elements together into a very, very effective ship, and I think it's a very strong argument for flying something that you enjoy and finding a way of making that competitive rather than, perhaps just following the crowd a little bit. But I think it's all personal choice anyway, and yeah, I think everybody's got their different flavour and how they play, and I don't think we should be getting on the back of anybody who plays net lists or things like that.
No, that's not the problem. The problem isn't the people that play the net lists at all. The problem is if there is a problem with a list, how long will it take for that to be addressed? Exactly. Which is the problem we've seen with the Jump Masters. No, is that like it was a problem, and then you got there's 2 halves to the community, and it always kind of upsets me the way that we're so divisive about it, is that you're always on one side or the other, and there's no real middle ground. And it's things like, for example, people will complain about a list, and then other people will derive the people that complained because people say like, it's not unbeatable, I've beaten it, or or saying like there's no point having to go at people for playing what they want to play and stuff like that. It's not like, what ends up being is that like it ends up being that you've got the polar opposite, and being on the 2 ends of that spectrum doesn't work. We need to be in the middle to kind of like get to a solution and enrich the community, as it were.
It's a good term.
Yeah. Because I mean, what always shows up in the discussion is, this is bad, and then somebody else coming along and going, no, it's not. Basically, in other words, but you know what I mean, just kind of like saying no, it's not, and it's basically like one person disqualifying the other person, and even though you think you might be taking the moral high ground, sometimes you're still taking that. The argument boils down to the same thing. You're disqualifying the opinion of another person. And what we saw with the Jump Masters is just how long it took for for it to become clear, because so many people would say, no, there's ways you can beat it, you know, there's counters and stuff like that, and it was just like, okay, yeah, you've got points, that you've got those points, but then time told that like something had to be done.
Yeah.
Something had to be done about it, and it got to the point where just reading the chat, it got to the point where it's just a question of and at the end of the day, the only people that have responsibility for this are developers, and they're the people that have got to turn around and say, okay, this thing needs to be changed, and eventually they stepped in and they did something about it. But the problem is, what we've got then, the problem is that you've got like the people that complain feel validated. And then the problem is that once you make people feel validated for complaining, it's kind of like carrot and stick. It's just kind of like, okay, well now I'm going to complain about this thing until that gets solved for me. You know, so there's all sorts of bad sides to it, and it's just a question of, at the end of the day, is just focusing on the fact that I mean, like somebody can feel that like a list is a negative player experience, and that doesn't mean that their list is invalid just because you think that it's not. Yeah. And we got to just kind of try and wade through that sort of stuff.
Gets a bit murky down there.
and basically, this is the sort of conversation that works perfectly right now, because we've got a really slow opening to this game.
I was just going to say,
just nothing's happening in the first 15 minutes.
It's a pretty cautious approach being taken.
Because this is the sort of thing where if I was commentated by myself, it would have been the last 15 minutes just going, yeah, okay, well, he's done that.
Well, you can't blame the guys playing. I mean, it's pretty big stage right now, so just want to make sure they get those avenues of first approach correct.
And imagine, for example, the sort of person that, like in your case, you've travelled a long way to come to this tournament. Other people as well in Spain have travelled 3 hours, maybe 2.5 hours in car to come to this tournament. You're not going to come with your happy list. No, you're going to have, right? And so maybe you're someone that dedicates yourself to one list, like yourself with Han Solo, that you get to the point where you're so practiced that you can pretty much adapt to any situation. But for other people that like to play all sorts of stuff, they're going to want to take what's proven, right? To make sure that they've got the best possibility of having a more enjoyable experience, because no one likes going 0-6.
Yeah,
no one enjoys
Nobody wants to do
that. Even though you can be like, oh, I had a really good game and I really enjoyed it. At the end of the day, going 0-6, no one enjoys that.
It's still going to hurt a bit.
Because the worst thing is you've got to go home and you've got to tell whoever it is you've left at home, how was your day? Oh, well, you know, I didn't win any games. You know, and they're like, well, then why did you go?
Yeah, exactly.
And so next time, they're like, well, no, you're not going to that thing. And what's your opinion on Fuik?
Fuik's a pilot that I'm surprised we haven't seen more of, at least around kind of casual tournaments and friendly tables, because I think it's a very interesting mechanic, and it forces you to make that early choice about how to use his title or his ability and which way to go. I think, for example, in this game, I think taking the PS boost was a much better option than taking the mirroring the ability of one of the other pilots. I think all the Star Vipers with their bendy barrel rolls now are just fun, just good fun. I'm not sure, coming back to the meta, I'm not sure how totally meta they are, but it doesn't matter as long as you're having fun flying them. I think I think they've got a place.
Yeah. It's I see it as being a very powerful ship. Just the flexibility it has. In the Nationals, we saw several of them, and they did very well. And it's just a question of the fact that they've got complete flexibility. Okay, so you're going to take the initiative bid, so you can go first. In this case, that hasn't worked out for Victor because he didn't go hard enough in the initiative bid. He had to have gone 97, 96 to avoid this sort of situation. Or you could just turn around and say that's why Lisardo has gone hard on his initiative bid to try and counteract this. And so they've got that initiative bid. They go hard for the initiative bid, which means that they've always got the fallback of being the last ship to move. And if not, if you see an ability across the table that ends up being particularly strong, then then you get to a point where it's kind of like, well, then I'm going to take that ability. For example, I've seen Fuik with the Inquisitor ability absolutely chop stuff up. Being able to treat every attack as if it was at range 1 with a 3 dice primary weapon.
It's pretty horrible.
It's pretty devastating. And we've got, and it's just the fact that he's got that ability. He can pick and choose. In some certain situations where he can see that he's got an opportunity to copy a pilot ability and really leverage it, then he can really take advantage of that and destroy games really quickly. Or I've always got the fullback of taking the highest skill. Yeah,
there's no real losing choices there.
And then those bendy barrel rolls just give him a positional advantage when he's moving last enormously. We saw in the national championship the French what's his name? One of the head judges from the French national championship played Fouic against a Kanan Biggs list. I think it was Kanan Biggs. No, it wasn't Kanan Biggs. It was Kanan Lorick maybe. And once Lorick was gone and the Fouic's wingman, whichever I think it was Assange, was gone, it just got down to the point where like Fouic was just barrel rolling out of those arcs on the VCX 100, and there was nothing that Kanan could do. There was it was all in Kanan's favour. Fouic was down to like 2 hull points, and Kanan was on full hull. But once there were no other ships to worry about, Fouic was just like, you can't hit me now, and I'm at range 1, right in your side of your right in the blind spot between your 2 arcs, and I'm just going to shoot 4 dice into you, and just took him down.
Yeah, I mean, I played Echo for a while, so I great respect to anybody who can fly bendy barrels throughout a tournament without their brain melting. I think that's a good effort. So
Echo is more difficult, I think, because the bendy barrel roll comes before moving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so you've got to like extrapolate more options. Whereas in the case of Fouic and the other Star Vipers, the bendy barrel roll comes after moving, so you're already in position, and it's just a question of let's see what my options here and which is the best of them.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. True. Whereas when you're with Echo, you've already dialed in your maneuver. It's a free bank right, and you're like, okay, well then if I come here, I'm going to have to go over there afterwards. If I go here, I'm going to have to go over there afterwards. And it's like the computational requirements of being able to work out where am I going to position myself on all these 8 options that I've got.
Yeah.
I think Victor has decided he wants Miranda.
Yeah, it looks to me like he might be trying to split Nim and Miranda up a little, maybe take Miranda off the table before Nim can really influence the game.
As Miranda's gone in through the asteroids, he's kind of taken that as his opportunity to kind of get a couple of turns of advantage before Lisardo's Nim can get back involved in the fight.
Definitely.
And we're doing really well for viewers as well. We've got 250 for the semi-final. David Diez advances to the finals, having defeated Joel's Miranda Chewbacca. Let's see if Lisardo can join him. I think that's what happened. It always gets confusing. So you're like, is it? And they're like, and you're like, well, does that mean that he won or he lost? So he's gonna throw a bomb. He's gonna drop the thermal detonator. I know he's trajectory launching the thermal detonator. I've turned up the table microphone to try and hear them, and it's impossible.
Looks like he's just trying to get Justero there.
Yeah.
Not sure if it's going to be close enough.
Yeah, I don't think so. The only reason why I comment that let's see if Lisardo makes it to the final is because of what I said at the beginning,
sure,
where like where 3 years ago I had Lisardo David Diez in my very first stream on the final. Just in case it's not me expressing a favoritism for Lisardo. Victor could make the final and it would be just as good a final. It's just that weird kind of history repeating itself, sort of deja vu.
Everything is circular. I think Thweek's got himself into a pretty strong position for an attack this phase.
Absolutely.
Range 1 inside of the TLT as well.
Yeah.
So going to put some hurt on Miranda there, I think.
Yeah. 4 dice against Miranda's 1. So, here we go.
Unmodified, though.
Yeah. Gets 2 hits, a hit and a crit. Miranda gets a focus, I think. Takes 1 shield. So not as good as we could have hoped for. Now Miranda's going to return fire. He's got that fire control system, gives him the target lock. No, there's no range there. Oh, no, he's going for Thweek. Okay. I don't think he's in range.
Not quite.
And so Miranda takes her primary weapon attack against Thweek. Range 1, Thweek gets 3 green dice, Miranda gets 3 red dice. Yeah? What are we waiting for? What's going on?
Might be thinking about the dropping a dice to regen that shield he just lost.
Of course, yeah. Or spending 1 to do more, yeah.
Spending one.
Yeah. Spends 1. 4 dice. I see 2 focus. No, 1 hit, 2 crits, rerolls, gets a 4th, gets 2 evades and a focus. He's got no focus token, so he's going to take 2 damage on Thweek. And 1 of them face up. And on the face up damage card we have a direct hit. There you go, you see the inside baseball there.
Sorry?
The inside baseball, you get to see the behind the scenes,
it's a good system.
how it works. I mean, in the case of direct hit, I've got it memorised. So here we go. They're back to dials. And that was an interesting round, leaving Thweek on just 2 hull points. Like I said before, a 2 hull point Thweek doesn't mean it's dead.
No, true.
And it's got that curly barrel roll. The only thing is that Miranda's got that twin laser turret at the 360 attacks, so Thweek doesn't have the ability to really leverage that curly barrel roll as he would do in other situations.
It's a TLT on Nim as well.
Yes, Captain Nim and Miranda have twin laser turrets. The Scum Nim has auto blaster turret. And Miranda's got a worry here about the Scum Nim firing a trajectory simulator bomb at him. Yeah. Which in the case of this regional was decided that the trajectory simulator and genius combo work. Okay. This was decided over a week ago and communicated to all players before list was submitted a week ago. And then obviously, despite recent events, whatever your opinion is of those, it would be unfair to change that ruling after lists have been submitted. So obviously, so what he's done is he's launched that trajectory simulator thermal detonator forward, and he's used the pilot ability of Rebel Nim to not explode it, to keep it there and kind of blocking off the opportunity for the Nim and Jostero to come left and engage with Lisardo's Nim.
It's a good play. It just shuts down that side of the board.
It basically gives like a giant rock.
Yeah, pretty much. That hurts more.
On their left, it just makes it even more difficult for them to choose their positioning. Lisardo is a very good player. He won the regional 3 years ago with Dash Corin.
Right.
And the thing what's funny about it was that David was playing Dash Corin as well. So it was a mirror match in the final. The difference between them two was one of them had engine upgrade on Corin and the other one had a shield upgrade. And that was the only difference between them. I think it was Lisardo took the shield upgrade. And then he went to the Nationals, and he went with, this was just after the Raider had been released, and he went with Palpatine, Vader, and Juno Eclipse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so Juno Eclipse, with someone like Lisardo who uses positioning a lot, Juno Eclipse is a very powerful ship.
Yeah.
And he made semi-finals in the National with Juno Eclipse.
Eclipse.
Losing to the eventual winner, who went on to the next round to defeat David. Which, as everyone knows from Spain, it was Mario Núñez, our very own Negro Oscuro, which was his first in a 2-year run of being national champion. He won 2 years back to back with TLT Y-Wings Fug Life. Which the first year was kind of like, yes, because TLT Y-Wings were the thing. The second year, he played against Triple Jump Masters list, which supposedly was a poor matchup for him, and won the national well. Mario Núñez is a very accomplished player, very good positional game. Lately, he's a bit more switched off on the game. He did play in the national, and I believe he made top, if I remember rightly. But yeah, a very good player. Me and him are very close friends now. Yeah, so it's kind of like with Lisardo and David, there's like this really big history, and so like the two of them doing really well in 2015, and since then not really finding their feet again, as things like Corin Horn and stuff like that kind of fell out
of meta a bit.
Fell out of meta, and eventually having so Jostero has chosen to pursue Miranda. Week, I'm guessing we'll do a hard turn maneuver followed by his curly barrel roll. He's going to have to watch out for that bomb.
Yeah, just got to. But again, he can leverage that barrel roll to help get range on the bomblet, so I think it should be fine.
One of the things that I remember most about Lisardo was that when he wasn't a person I knew, so I didn't know many people when he got to the final in the first regional I did. And it was just like, what's this guy's name? When you're in English, it's like, what? Lisardo Montagud? I was like, I had to go back and look at the screen like 3 or 4 times. I'd written it incorrectly. Okay, slams to make sure he's escaping those arcs this time around. And let's see what Nim did. Just a one straight, being cautious here. Obviously, he might want to barrel roll back and right to try and get an arc on Miranda this time around.
Perhaps into just range 1 for the auto blaster.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Also shuts down Nim's TLT.
Yeah. Miranda's TLT, yeah.
Oh, sorry, yes, Miranda's TLT, yeah. Too many Nims.
So that's a good position, And Foyk does the free bank. Oh yeah, and then curly barrel roll to the left. No, because he'll get stuck on the rock if he goes backwards, and the other way he'll lose arc on Nim. So I guess he's just got to stay there. This is his best option. I suppose he could barrel roll to the right forwards, but I think that'd be okay.
Yeah, that's what he's going for.
I would have said that would have left him a bit too far from the action for the next round. Oh yeah, it's basically like taking a signals loop out. Yeah, so now he could, in the next turn, he could pull off the. Let's just have a look at this here. He could pull off the free bank left and position himself into a good position behind the rock, and maybe, well, no, it'd be too close to the rock, maybe. Who knows? Yeah, that rock's too close to take a free bank left. You'd have to do free bank right and then barrel roll again to be able to get back on, have arc on Nim.
Genius bombling launch there.
Yep. Making sure this one counts. Yep. So he's then. This is the seismic charge this time. So I've got to update my extra munitions tokens. He's spent a thermal detonator and he's spent a seismic charge. Where's that one? Oh, it's a proton bomb. One of those is a thermal detonator and one of them's a proton bomb. The most recent one's the proton bomb. So he's gonna deal a face-up damage card onto Justero now.
And he's just switched his target lock onto Justero as well, so I think he's probably going to follow up with a harpoon.
Yeah, of course. And he's got Sabine, so 2 damage. What happened there?
He took a face down.
So
it looks like it
a
was
thermal detonator then. I don't know. He's taking the stress. It must have been a thermal detonator. So it must be the other one. Must be the proton bomb.
Must be.
Because he's still got. So attacks coming in. We've got 1 hit, 2 hits, and 1 evade. I don't know. I've got confused. I don't know what's going on. So, any more damage going on here? It must have been a thermal detonator because it's taken the stress, right? But then, which of these cards over here is the proton bomb? The one that's got two extra munitions tokens on it, yeah?
Yeah, looks like it. Unless it was the stress-dealing crit.
And there's the harpoon condition, and Justero's down to 1. So he hit a pretty bad harpoon hit there because he only got 1 damage on him. This one, and then we're down. So he's down to 2 hull points on Justero. So it's the second bomb wasn't. They were both thermal detonators. He just puts 2 tokens on it instead of turning the card over and having to take it out of its sleeve. Okay. So let me try and get this stuff updated then, because it means he's still got 2 proton bombs to go, which is this button, I think. Yeah. And then we're going to get rid of the thermal detonators. Oh, okay. Understood. Of course, it doesn't help when he uses different tokens. He puts down 1 token and the other one's got a different picture on it, and we're like, it must be another bomb.
Is that a crit on Justero as well?
Yep, he's damage sensor array, if I'm right. Yeah, damage sensor array. So no actions. Justero down to 1 hit point. And Justero's ability, does that work when friendly ships suffer damage, or was it Justero is this one here? Once after an enemy ship that is not defending against an attack suffers damage or critical damage. Yeah, and he's not really been able to get his bombs involved in the fight yet. So Jostero is going to have gone off the table without really having much of an effect on the game, which is a shame, being one of the more interesting ships of the matchup. So David Dief is resting while he waits to find out who his opponent is for the final.
Yes. Looking forward to seeing that bomber in action. That'll be good.
We saw the last game was pretty good. It was really good the way he just destroyed Dash. It was like 20 minutes the last game.
That's good.
Yeah. I always hate long games, huh? Because the problem is that if a game goes to time, it means I've got no time to try and set things up for the next game.
Go on to the next bit.
And so when a game finishes 20 minutes, I'm like really happy. You can always tell when a game goes to time, like interviews are like really like, yeah, okay, mate. Thank you very much, off you go. Yeah. And when a game finishes early, the interviews are a lot more like 5, 6, 7 minutes. When we get through to the semi-final, once we complete this game, I won't do an interview with the winner, because obviously I'm going to do an interview next game after the final. And if I do an interview after the semi-final, I kind of like spend a lot of the questions I have, like how did things go yesterday and stuff like that. And then like after if he wins the final, it's kind of like, oh yeah, we already said everything, haven't we? So
that'd be a shame. Yeah.
So Jostero deciding I might as well go for it. I've not got much left to lose. So he's also spent. Okay, so he's also spent the munitions token on the harpoon missile because he fired the harpoon missile. What the problem is that he puts 2 munitions tokens on there, and that's why I'm getting confused. So now he's got only 1 harpoon missile left. He's got 2 proton bombs, and to top it all off, the extra munitions card must be around the back of his sleeves. Because these guys have got so many cards, and this thing is double-sided. These sleeve things they have is double-sided. They put the extra ones around the back. The ones that aren't so important are a bit more obvious. And so extra munitions around the back. The Captain Nim that Victor has a veteran instincts around the back, and whatever it is. So confusing as hell for me when I've got to watch everything.
Just trying to eyeball it all.
Oh gosh. Hard to. So deciding that he's giving up on the Miranda after having several turns of trying to chase down Miranda and not being effective, although he has removed all except 1 shield, which I hadn't noticed. One of them are gone. Not being effective, he's decided it's time to have gone after Nim from the beginning. Obviously, like what you don't want to do, you don't want to joust Nim. You don't want to go straight for Nim because you're going to get bomblets. You're going to get bombs thrown in your face for 2 rounds. But now he's gotten to the point where it's just like I can't keep letting Nim harass me on the flank while I'm being completely ineffective against Miranda.
Yeah. It does give Miranda a chance to regen those shields though, so we're going to lose some progress.
But then that happens anyway.
That's true.
Yeah, and we've only 3. I mean, Miranda, you've got to sink a whole load of that. You've got to get her down to 3 hull points within 1 round of shooting to be able to do any effective damage, to make it worthwhile pursuing her. Because otherwise, you're just going to be pursuing her, taking off a shield, taking off a shield, taking off a shield. She regenerates, and just wasting your time. Curly barrel roll to the left and forward. We need to come up with a new name for that barrel roll. It's not a barrel roll, is it? It's like different. It's like Segnal's loop isn't a K-turn.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. We need to call it a Star Viper swish.
I like it. I think that's catchy.
His Star Viper swished to the left and forward.
We'll put that in the next FAQ. So this will be a proton bomb.
Yeah. All right, down. So let me remove that munitions token before I get more confused. Proton bomb, down to 1. Okay. So Jostero and Nim face up. Damage card. Jostero's going to go off the table before firing this round. So that's one thing. He can take from this round. What are you going to do? He's trying to work out if he's got arc to fire the second harpoon missile, huh? And Jostero's harpoon, so Nim's going to suffer 2 damage. And someone's going to suffer an extra 1 for Sabine. Nim, because Jostero's already on 1 damage. No. So Nim's going to get 2 damage. One from Sabine, 1 from harpoon, and a face-up damage card. 2 shields and a face-up damage card. Nope. It says not time for harpoons just yet. I'm going to go for range, use the TLT to try and finish him off. Not going to be enough, but maybe between Miranda and Nim, firing on Nim. So this would have to be, he'd have to, because strictly speaking, it should be done in a certain order, no? So it should be that that it applies the face-up damage card to Nim. Nim suffers the damage from Sabine, and then and that's a damage sensor away as well. Nim suffers the damage from Sabine, then he uses the bomb to destroy Jostero, and the harpoon condition triggers, doing 1 further damage to Nim. Let's update this while I'm busy talking pedantics. So, Captain Nim.
Spending the target up?
Yeah. And a blank. No, this is Fuik attacking Captain Nim. Yeah. Right, and shields go down. He's got 1 less. He's down to 1 shield now. And that's a pretty poor roll from the first TLT. Second TLT gets 2 hits and a focus, and 1 damage goes in on Captain Nim's scum. Down to 2 damage hull. And without actions for the next turn at least. 2 hits, doesn't spend the focus token, just takes the shield off. Nothing that can be done for Nim to defend against that. The bomblet stays. No, he takes it. And regenerates a shield on Miranda. First attack's only 1 hit. Scum Nim rolls a blank. That's my Facebook Messenger. What's it say? And that was the end of that, huh? There was the second. Nim is left without shields after the TLT attack from Miranda. So, a really powerful round for Lisardo, no? Removing Jostero from the table with a well-placed proton bomb, and doing a lot of damage on Nim in just 1 turn between bombs and Sabine, harpooned, and just general fire from the 2 TLTs.
And Scum Nim's got to be careful of that bomb that's been held directly in front.
Yeah, of course.
Without no actions at the moment, so I can't reposition. So
yeah, and it's stressed. And it's stressed. So
I think that stress was left over from Jostero.
Oh yeah, of course, because he was stressed from the thermal detonator before. So So what are the options for Nim? Well, he can try to take a hard toe turn to the right. Yeah, like this, something like this. Okay, and then barrel roll to the right.
Damage sensor, right? So no
Of course, yeah, no action.
So I think he's going to have to go to the left just to try and get out of the way of that bomb.
So let's just reset that and try another one. So he's going to have to take a hard two turn to the right, no? Yeah. To the left, sorry. So he's going to go. That's a poor drawing, but more or less you get the idea. But yeah, I mean that's going to be the only way he's going to really have any opportunity of getting out of range one of that bomb. I forgot my mouse this weekend. It's in the cupboard. Same as I forgot my headphones. I've got to get an extra mouse so I don't take it out of the suitcase. Because the thing is, it's so much hassle, you know. And so what I've ended up doing is, one of the things I did recently with Patreon money is I bought extra laptop chargers. Nice. So they can just stay in there, because when I'm at home, the laptop chargers go through like a kind of a box to plug in. Yeah. And there's so many times that when I've left to go to an event, I've waited until I got to like the outskirts of town, stop the car and quickly check the boot to make sure I've got the laptop chargers, because otherwise I forget them. And this time I didn't do it, and I forgot the headsets and the mouse. So a bomblet as well. Not that it's going to make any difference, but you might as well drop it for free.
It's like a slam.
Yeah. She's got nothing to do over there by herself anyway.
Might as well get it back
she wants to get into a position for the next round.
Yeah.
Just to be able to get a free shot. I mean, like, let's see what Nim does now. She wouldn't have been at range for a TLT attack. Okay. Weak takes a hard one turn to the right, and I guess he's going to stay there. That's an interesting position to take, huh? Because he's not going to be able to fire on Nim once Nim moves.
So it's either going for the block or trying to force Nim to go back towards their own bomb?
Maybe, yeah. See, I'd have thought Nim would have taken a 2-bank left. And if he's
right
done...
first time.
Yeah. I mean... I guess he's saying, I'm only going to take one. I'm going to take 1 damage and 1 damage for Sabine. I'm still going to be alive. I'm going to try and take advantage of my auto blaster turret, assuming that Rebel Nim goes right. But I would have gone a 2-bank left with Rebel Nim. What was that for? That was the crit, and he's not managed to get it off. Yeah. He did think he was going to do a barrel roll, and then they reminded him he had the crit.
I see.
So what I drew on the screen the first time was what he was thinking of doing.
Yeah.
He forgot he had the crit as well, and then he got reminded by Lisardo. A free turn. Really well placed.
Yeah, fits nicely.
That freak's dead, isn't he? I mean, well, he's got to have a really bad roll on that auto blaster.
The auto blaster's on this.
He's going to target lock, isn't he?
Gun him, isn't it?
That's true. Yeah, sorry.
So I think maybe Miranda barrel rolling away to get the range.
He's stressing.
Hard threes are red, aren't they?
Yeah. What do I need to think of here? There's something I was thinking of just now. I don't remember. But he's got he's dropped another bomb, so now he's without bombs. Thermal detonators, proton bombs are now gone. No more bombs on Rebel Nim. Takes the 2. He's now got 3 damage cards there. Takes 2 damage for the bomb and a stress token. They're using the beers and ships stress tokens. You got one focus result, and it looks like 1 hit, 2 crits. Looks like he's put down another crit. One focus, 1 blank. This is a harpoon, huh?
It must be.
From Nim. 1. And a... what's that one? I can't remember that one. Loose stabilizer. And then a damaged cockpit. Pilot skill 0. On Nim. Let's get this information up on screen. Oh wait, first things first. Damage. 1 shot, pitch field. 2 hull, and then pilot skill 0. A very good result for Victor from that harpoon. It's got 3 damage cards.
3 damage.
Yeah. 2 hits, 1 hit, 1 crit, and 1 evade, and an unknown takes a face down. And the second attack.
This could be it.
1 blank and an unknown. It's gone.
But at least we got the harpoon off first.
Yep, and now Fweek is alone. With 2 hull points against Miranda and Nim. Nim pilot skill 0. Nim not got any bombs left, so that's one thing for him. That's one thing in his favour. So, what is... Lisardo's very decided on what he's going to do. So with the semi-final, with table number 1 of the semi-final completed, with David Dief advancing to the final, we're into the last few minutes of this match to see how whether Lisardo can cement the victory he has within his grasp, or Fweek can pull off some sort of miracle of the Fweek.
Highest order. Oh, very good. Miracle of the Fweek. Okay. I think Fweek's immediate problem is how to get out of the way of Nim's TLT without walking straight into that bomb. I think this is a tough place for Fweek to be right.
Because that's the proton bomb, isn't it?
Yeah, so that could be game over before we even get round to shooting.
I need to start doing bomb tokens as well, so that I can know at least. The thing is, I need a whole set, so I can just turn around and say, Lisardo, don't use the seismic charge. So I have to keep remembering what it is. Use the one that's got the right picture on it, and right on the bomb token, proton. In big letters, proton. Seismic. Thermal. Okay. So pilot skill 0, Nim moves forward slowly. Focus is up. Fweek comes around. He's probably going to barrel roll to get into range 1.
Not sure he's got up there.
Star Viper swoosh.
Yep.
To get into range 1 to avoid the fire, but then, I mean, because Miranda's out of range right now if he moves forward.
Get the range 1 shot from Fweek. Could take Nim off the board.
Yeah. He's going for it. Star Viper swoosh. No, he's boosting.
It's boosting.
Boosting. Of course, I forget they've got the boost.
Yes.
And here we go. Has he got a torpedo? No, he doesn't, has he?
No,
range 1,
primary.
4 dice. A hit and a crit. Re-rolls. Gets another hit. 2 hits, 1 crit against Rebel Nim. 3 hull points. And
gone.
Blank. Let's just double check before. Oh, what's going on? What are you two doing? What are we talking about?
Well, they're looking at the
direct hit. Oh, he took the action, and he didn't get rid of the damage sensors array.
Because he barrel rolled.
No, that's not it. Because that was the Nim. That's got nothing to do with it. I don't know what the hell's going on. Anyway, it's dead.
And it looked like Fweek took some splash damage there from
the harpoon.
From the harpoon.
Of course, that was what they were doing. That was what they're going on about, is whether or not he was going to leave him dead or not. If that was the end of the game. Here we go. We're out of range. So, so Fweek, not got many options here. 1 hull point left against Miranda with 2 shield tokens. So she's gonna get into range and spend a shield token to roll extra dice.
It's a tough situation for Fweek right now.
Yeah.
Can't leverage that PS advantage to get out of arc because you see the TLT being a turret. So.
Yeah. Lisardo seems very decided. I think he's confident in this. He knows that this game is all in his favour. It's his game to lose right now. It's just a question of taking his time about it and picking his position correctly. And she's got where's my mouse? She's got a harpoon on Miranda as well. So Fweek takes
turning in.
One turn towards Miranda.
Perhaps just trying to finish the game.
Maybe it's just he knows it's over. Might as well get it over with. I don't know. So let's just take a look at the top cup as things wrap up here. I'll call out any dice results, but I think we know what's going on. So we've had David Dief advance through Javier Navarro, Antonio Roma and Joel Guillamon to reach the final. Lisardo has beaten Victor Donnay, we're assuming, and Alberto Guindo from Barcelona and Sergi Perez. One of the lists that made the top 16 that was interesting was Jorge Aumente, which lost in top 16 to Alberto's playing Oterok, Fweek and Fenrao, and Jorge was playing the triple defender list that we saw yesterday, Destroy, Miranda, Nim. So let's get back to the main camera as they roll dice. Fweek attacking Miranda, range 2. 1 hit, re-rolls, gets 2. Blank on the evade, eats 2 shields, so he's not going to be able to use the ability to roll an extra die. Harpoon missiles, yeah?
Harpoon incoming.
Roll 5 dice, gets 2 hits and a focus token and a focus result. Spends the target lock to re-roll the blank. Gets another blank, spends the focus. 3 hits on 3 green dice. No focus token to modify. Gets 2 and a focus. So that's the end of it, yeah?
Yeah, looks
there
like it.
It goes. semi-finals finished. Lisardo undefeated. Well, his only loss of the tournament has been to David Diez, who he will now face in the final.
That should be a good matchup.
Yeah, and like I say, it's the full circle. It's the circle of Simon.
Yeah, circle of Simon.
Right, thank you very much. You want to stay around for the final as well?
Oh, if you're happy.
Yeah,
Stay
excellent.
around, yeah.
So I'll see you in a bit when we get. They might take lunch. They might give them a bit of a 20-minute rest before they get started on the final. We don't know how it works in this sort of situations.
Sure.
Because people want to get out of here as early as possible and stuff like that. So thank you for the semi-final. Do you want to? We'll say a quick hello to everybody, and I'll go get interviews in Spanish with the two players.
Excellent.
Well, no, with Victor, because I don't do the interview with the semi-finalist who goes into the final.
Thanks.
Víctor, enhorabuena por haber
Muchas
llegado
gracias.
hasta el semifinal del nacional, regional de Valencia 2018. ¿Te ha vivido bien?
Pues sí, la verdad es que ha sido una experiencia bastante buena y grata, y bueno, no esperaba yo llegar tan lejos. Y porque bueno, ya había probado la lista y había hecho algún torneo con ella, y bueno, no me ha ido tan bien como me ha ido aquí, que la verdad es que me ha ido. Tampoco la sabía manejar tan. Al haberla rodado luego un poquito más, entonces ya la he sabido manejar mejor, entonces claro, ha condicionado pues eso, que este torneo fuera mejor.
Vale, genial. Y recordadme, también para la gente que no lo vieron ayer, ¿cuánto tiempo llevas jugando?
2 años.
2 años, ¿no? Pero de mucho de juego competitivo no tanto, ¿verdad?
El juego competitivo, torneos de aquí,
De
de La
vez en cuando,
Roca y eso, pero vamos, he hecho ya un regional hace 2 años,
Sí.
hice un regional y
Aquí en el centro comercial, esa.
en el centro comercial.
Vale, vale.
Y pero
Vale.
vamos, ya haré más, porque la
Muy
verdad
bien,
es que es
genial.
estupendo.
Lisardo es un jugador muy bueno,
Sí.
Ya, ¿lo viste una partida cuesta arriba?
Lisardo es un jugador, además, es un tío estupendo,
Ya.
lo llevo conociendo desde bastante tiempo, he jugado bastante con él y la verdad es que es un tío que se piensa muy bien las listas. Esta lista que él tenía estaba muy bien pensada,
Ya.
tirando las bombas con su munición adicional para no gastar genio, gastar la munición adicional y volverte luego a tirar otra bomba, y claro, entonces era una masacre tan masacre con las bombas.
Ya, los bombas eran bestiales.
Pero bueno, aún así, claro, él se ha llevado el dado de la iniciativa, que podría haber condicionado un poquito más, pero claro, él se la ha llevado, lógicamente me ha dado la iniciativa a mí, como yo hubiera hecho con él, y bueno, aún así, bueno, pues le he matado a Nin y le he dejado a mitad a Miranda, y bueno, pues no me voy con mal gusto de la partida, la verdad.
Hombre,
es que ha sido una partida interesante.
Había una parte de que podría haber ido por los dos lados, que no era tan decidida. Y claro que quizá lo que fue un poco más la cosa que te dejaba, que te venía encima, era cuando tiraste a Fuig por encima de Miranda y dejaste al Trostero y Nim un poco más atrás.
Sí.
Quizá, pero quién sabe, ¿sabes? Que podría haber ido de
Yo
cualquier
la
manera.
idea era,
También
bueno,
tuviste una mala ataque esta ronda,
Sí,
que con los 4 de los que tiraste solo sacaste 2
Como yo
daños.
sé que también él con Miranda tiraba bombas por detrás, mi intención era seguir dándole a Miranda, pero claro, me iba a venir por Nin, entonces tenía que elegir, y yo sabía que claro, al irme con Tweet por donde me fui para ir a por Nin,
Sí.
sabía que ahí estaba a salvo de las bombas,
Ya.
y entonces podía hacer un poco más de daño.
Ya.
Y bueno, así he conseguido matar a Nin, pero bueno, ya Miranda ya era caso imposible.
Pues mira, muchas gracias por haber participado,
A ti,
por
¿no?
haber salido en stream, ¿vale? Suerte con el futuro, ¿vale?
Venga, gracias.
Adiós.
Hasta luego.
Okay, so